Good Friday morning, guys. My name is Jerry Miller, and thank you kindly for joining us on Real Talk with Keith Smith. It's an absolute pleasure to connect with you through the I Love CVille Network, a show presented by Yes Realty Partners. Trusted advisors, trusted sources, and folks you can count on. Yes Realty Partners is a team of people that will get you to the finish line of closing and beyond. Find them online at yesrealtypartners.com. Judah Wickhauer is the director of the fine and fair talk show that we call Real Talk with Keith Smith. The star of our program is a man that by now needs no introduction. He is a guy that is headed to New York for a pretty significant bike ride, and he is a good guy.
Infamous.
No, you're not infamous.
Infamous.
Locally famous.
I'm infamous.
How are you doing today, my friend Keith Smith?
I'm doing good. You know, like I was saying, you know, today it's just going to be if somebody wants to make in front of Smith wearing spandex. I posted a couple of pictures making fun of me on it. I love it. It means that you like me. They really, really like me. But I am mentally and physically not ready to do this year. So keep me in your thoughts and prayers. It's a tough one. Judah, I just emailed you a picture of the bridge from last year. If you can show the fine listeners and, the listeners won't be able to see it, but the viewers anyway, of a picture of a section of the bridge. And you'll notice a lot of rust, and that's about a 16, 18-foot section of the bridge, and every section of the bridge had this rust on it. It makes you wonder when you're sitting on the bridge, like, do I really want to go across this again? But it's the little factoid. Thank you, Judah. A little factoid. They're kind of like Altoids, but just a little different.
I like that. Do they come in tin cans?
They come in tin cans. There you go. And you should have one before you kiss your wife.
Altoids are the strongest mint. The most powerful mint, right?
I'm a Tic Tac kind of guy. So
the Tic Tac is good, but it does not provide the power of an Altoid.
Well, first of all, it's a Tic Tac thing because that's from my generation. Let's call it that.
Tic Tacs aren't just your generation.
Well, there wasn't Altoids when Tic Tacs first came around.
There were no Altoids around when you were a kid?
We probably couldn't afford them. So that's probably, I have no idea.
Shoot, oh my God.
I stole the ones the Tic Tac. Oh, I probably shouldn't say that online. With statute of limitations come by.
Oh, I think the statute of limitations are gone, Keith.
Yeah, I may have walked out a few things in a candy store in my youth that I may not have paid for.
Judah, have you ever walked a few things out of a candy store?
Have you ever been in a candy store? You don't even have candy stores.
Does Judah have the microphone in front of him? That's the first question.
My parents have a picture of me in a grocery store with my arm up to about here in the gumball machine.
There you go.
So tell the story. So was the fire department called on that one?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, you were able to get it out?
I guess.
I may have gotten my arm stuck in a gumball machine once.
I don't think I got anything. I just
may
was,
have.
you know.
What is the most significant thing you may or may not have pilfered, Keith Smith?
Oh no, this was kid stuff. This was like walked out with a candy
bar. I
bar,
totally get that.
Gum. This is 100 years ago. I don't remember it. I think the big thing is I wonder if anybody's watching and listening. Maybe Bill would remember this. Does anybody actually remember a candy store? I mean, that was a thing.
There used to be a candy store on 4th Street, right around the corner from the studio. As in a couple of years ago. In fact, if you go to the studio camera, these love signs that are on set, there's one here behind me and one there behind Keith. We purchased them from the candy store on 4th Street as they were going out of business. I forget what we paid for them. And then Judah proceeded to paint them red to match the set motif.
I've been often wondering about who did the sloppy paint job because you can see the paint rolling on the edge.
Judah.
Man.
I don't think it's...
I'm all full of myself today if you haven't figured this out.
I'm always quick to hold Judah accountable. Some would say unreasonably accountable.
Oh, no, I would say that too.
But in this particular circumstance, I say, Judah, it's not sloppily painted.
Yeah, so candy stores were very... Somebody should Google it. Candy stores in the city were very different things than even that one. It was, it was kind of like you could get like a soda counter on it. You can get, Boston creams and get get all this kind of great stuff as a kid growing up. I missed that. But the intersection I grew up on was on 72nd and 3rd. Below the building we were was an Irish bar. Across the way was an Italian deli. The other corner was a Jewish bakery, and then the other corner, opposite corner, was a candy store. So basically, those four corners.
You didn't need to leave.
Well, I was a little too young. Actually, I wasn't too young to go in a bar, but anyway.
One of my favorite things about Manhattan, and we're heading soon.
Yeah, we don't consider Manhattan, but we'll have a whole different conversation.
No, what were you finish your thought there?
Yeah, well, there's two different worlds.
What do you mean?
I never actually went to Manhattan.
You're from Queens, right?
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
I never went to Manhattan until after I got out of the Marine Corps.
Why was that?
You didn't belong there.
You Brooklynites.
I didn't belong there. So here's a little. I mean, I don't know if anybody's watching.
No, Pete, go ahead. Vanessa Parkhouse is watching. Go ahead.
So, Saturday Night Fever, right? What do you think Saturday Night Fever was really about?
Saturday Night Fever? What do you mean?
What do you think it was about?
Having a great time, partying.
It was about. It supposedly was about disco and all that
Yeah.
stuff. That's not what it was about.
Okay.
What it was about was a young lady getting out of the neighborhood and making it into Manhattan. If somebody watches that again, that's really the center theme of the story. That's the love interest of John Travolta.
Philip Dow, hello.
She got out of the neighborhood and got into Manhattan. You just didn't do it. It's just, if you didn't belong there, you didn't belong.
Why'd you feel like you didn't belong in Manhattan?
It's because you stayed in your neighborhood. That's what you did. That was a
What
whole.
was
This was the 60s and 70s.
What was
thing.
Brooklyn in the 60s and 70s like compared to Manhattan in the 60s and 70s?
Oh, very different.
How so?
Oh, God. Just Google pictures. Well, the neighborhood that we were in was very ethnically diverse. I mean, the building that we were in had everything from Puerto Rican to Jewish, Irish, Italian, African Americans. It was all in one building.
How many bedrooms in your apartment?
Oh, 2 maybe?
How many kids in that apartment?
Well, that was before my younger brothers were born, so it was just 4 at that point.
Okay. So you bunked with your...
Yeah, my sister.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. My sister's 2 years younger than me. Then we moved out to Levittown back in when I was a young boy, young teenager kind of thing. Got out of the city, but that was in the 70s, and everybody was getting the hell out of the city, right? You did not want to be in the city back in those days.
Okay, Keith Smith, right
But
here.
candy store, yeah. It's a true story. My grandmother used to throw 50 cents from the 5th story. Did I ever tell you this story?
I think you've told it a couple times, but it's a great story worth repeating.
Okay,
And she'd throw it down to you at the ground level.
I had to catch it.
Yeah.
God forbid it went in the sewer.
I mean, throwing 50 cents from a 5th floor, if that hit you, that'd be painful.
You had to catch.
Yeah.
And then I would go in the bar and get my grandma, the bartender would give me a quart of beer. I'd walk it up to my grandmother, I'd get 2 cents and go to the candy store. That's how I started business.
Why did your grandmother go? What is a quart of beer, by the way?
It was in a quart cup. They had them they would do on the tap and put
Yeah.
it in a quart paper cup, put a tap on it, put it in a paper bag, and I'd sit on the bar, and everybody knew I was Chris's grandkid. They'd pat me on the head. Chris's grandkid. I sat at the bar. I was 6 or 7 or 8, whatever. And then I'd walk it up, because the less money you have,
Oh, yeah.
the higher the floors you were.
Yeah.
Right? The more money you had, the lower the floor were.
I thought you wanted to be a higher floor so there were less noise level.
They were walk-ups, Jerry. They didn't have elevators.
Okay. How many floors were in the building?
5 stories.
So you're on the 5th floor.
So my grandma was on the 5th.
Okay.
We were, I think, on the 4th or the 3rd. I think.
Okay.
I can't remember. So the more money you made, the lower to the ground you were on that stuff. And she would throw it, and I would walk up to the 5th story. I'd get 2 cents and go get a couple of bazooka gums or gumball or whatever.
This one's come in. What's Keith think the downtown mall needs that it doesn't have? Charlottesville.
Chairs, seats.
That's a hot topic.
I know that. I'm in rare form, so
That's a hot topic.
Yeah.
You got to be careful with that one.
That's not careful. I would like to sit down and have a cup of coffee and.
Business owners would say keep the seats gone.
I get
Some business owners.
I get the
does.
reason why, but
Joan Fenton led that charge.
I get that, but I would like to have a place to sit down and have a cup of coffee and have a chat and send a couple of texts. Well, I'm coming from the perspective when I came here in 87, the majority of the downtown mall was boarded up,
I know.
right? So it's kind of.
When I got here in 2000, which was 24 years ago, students didn't come downtown.
Oh, absolutely.
And still, my friends and I, we decided to have a few drinks in our dorm room as first years at UVA, hopped the trolley, took the trolley downtown. We went into Miller's in the fall of 2000 to see a set played by the frontman of the Agents of Good Roots and a guitarist, two guys playing Miller's, and we walked in, and folks at Miller's screamed at us, "Students aren't welcome here, get out."
There you go.
This was in 2000.
They also probably knew it was you.
No, they did not.
We don't want Miller here.
We
don't want Miller and Miller's. Look at that.
Zing. 2 months into my first year.
Yeah. Well, I remember we used to attend every Fridays after 5 when it was a grassy little knoll kind of thing at the end.
Fridays After 5 used to be on the other side of the mall.
No.
It used to be Fridays After 5 used to be previously on a makeshift stage on the Omni side of the mall.
That's exactly right. It was in a field.
Yeah.
Right? And it was the coolest thing, and it was a lot of fun, and then it became this. I don't think we've been to Fridays After 5 since they've moved into the new thing. So,
Bill,
what does the downtown mall need?
Yeah, that's the question. And Bill's got an answer to you, but this one is Philip Dow. Hello, Vanessa Parkhill. We'll get to your comment about Saturday Night Fever. Bill, we'll get to your comment about candy stores. But first, what does the downtown mall need that it does not have, Keith?
Well, I'm a restaurant foodie guy, so
It's got a lot of that.
I know that, but it's a tough town to do well in that business because there's a lot of them. What would it need? The old Woolworths was really cool to go in. I know that model doesn't work today, but something like that would be really cool. That's a great question. I don't think I have an answer to it. Go believe that. Smith ain't got something.
What does the
to say.
downtown mall need that it does
I'm
not
going to go
have?
with my gut reaction. It needs a place for people to sit. I know that's not what certain
That's what I was
business
gonna
own.
say.
What's that?
That's what I was going to say. It needs its benches back, and it needs more carts, like smoked and what was the hot dog cart?
Catch the Chef?
Oh, yeah.
Catch the Chef.
Yeah, that's right. I agree with you, sir. Definitely. I mean, my first gut reaction is there's no place to sit down. It's very transitory. It's not.
Well, the intent was, we know the intent behind that.
Sure. Well,
There used to be benches,
I know that. Well, there was never enough.
but there were more.
There was never, in my opinion, there was never enough. It should be more inviting. I know exactly why they do it. I think maybe they should try to fix the problem why they had to take them out, but that's a topic for a different show and a different day.
I'll ask you this question. Has the downtown mall, in your opinion, recovered from pre-COVID?
I would say yes.
You think so? I'm shocked by that.
I would say yes.
I'm shocked by that. That yes.
Yeah, I have to tell you, we used to always be on the downtown mall. I'm not on the downtown mall as much as I used to be. I don't think that's I don't think that's intentional.
That's not okay. Go ahead.
I don't think that's an intentional thing. It's just a life change. There's some things that we're doing different, Yonna and I, on it. But we bounce around. We tend to bounce around sometime. We get a place and we kind of hang out in that place, aka Tavola, right, for a few years, and then we go someplace else for a few years. So we kind of bounce around a little bit. I can't remember the last time I just wandered the downtown mall. It's been a few months since I did that. But that's not because of there's nothing there. It's not because there's whatever going on. It's just we just haven't done it for whatever reason.
Bill says this. So at some point in his life, Keith Smith was a kid in a candy store.
I was literally good.
A kid in the candy shop.
Bill, well done. Yeah, I was a kid in the candy store. That's right.
Vanessa Parkhill on Saturday Night Fever. And Heather Walker, I'm going to get to your comment in a matter of moments. Vanessa Parkhill says, yes, Saturday Night Fever, great movie. It was a big deal for the female lead, Stephanie, I believe, to have her office job and move into Manhattan.
That's exactly right. That was a huge thing. By the way, the disco was in Bay Ridge that got shot. And the place where he folds his pizzas wasn't in Bay Ridge, but I used to, as a kid, go to that pizza store, and it was the thing. You put two pizzas on top of each other, you turn them over, and you eat them. And you usually ate them over a trash can the one on the side of the street, because they were so greasy. Didn't want the grease to get on you, and you ate it so the grease would drip into the trash can.
Huge fan, my wife and I, of Joe's Pizza in Manhattan. Multiple locations for Joe's.
Yeah.
Heather Lamond Walker, the queen of Johnson Village, says it needs a candy store. There used to be a great one on one of the side streets. Right, Heather, there used to be a candy store on 4th Street, right around the corner for where I Love CVille, our studio, is located. In fact, if you're just tuning in, if Judah goes to the studio camera, this sign and the sign behind Keith Smith, we purchased from the candy store, the love signs, as they were closing and selling their shelves, the refrigeration, and a number of other things. It does need a candy store. That's a great suggestion.
Here, I'm going to cause another thing. You know what the downtown mall needs? Either the freaking hotel finished or torn down.
I don't think it's going to get torn down. I was having a conversation yesterday with somebody about the Dewberry Hotel. John Dewberry, the developer from Atlanta, Georgia, who grew up in Waynesboro and played quarterback for the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. He is current on his taxes. I think the number, I saw Commissioner Rory Stolzenberg posted this one time, was roughly $65,000 a year he is paying in taxes on the skeleton that is the Dewberry Hotel.
It just needs to get, something just needs to get done with it. And I brought this up on the show many a times, and I know that they've had some folks in there, but the longer that is a tension, steel, concrete building.
Oh, it's so exposed to the elements.
And there's a reason you put a facade on a tension steel concrete building, because most people don't know concrete is extremely porous, and the steel starts rusting internally. I would have, I'm sure somebody's been looking at it, but my concern would be the structural integrity of the building.
Philip Dow watching the program. I believe, Philip, are you back in Scottsville or are you still in Florida? Let us know. He's got a couple of comments. I mentioned this live on air to Keith Smith. This is the comment he has said. A candy store and an ice cream store. It's got an ice cream store.
It's got an ice cream store. It's got 2.
It's got 3. It's got Chaps.
Okay.
It's got Splendora's.
Oh.
And it's got Kilwins.
Splendora's. Oh, yeah. I forgot.
Gelato.
Yeah.
Chaps, the Gelato, and Kilwins. And he's in Sarasota, Florida, he says. He said, I would love to see something like Woolworth on the downtown mall.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I think the mall back then was better than it is now.
Yeah.
Lloyd Snook has said on the program the mall has not recovered since COVID.
Yeah, and that could very well be. I'm just taking it from my limited experience, and the fact that I've wandered around, have not wandered around down there is no reason other than we're extremely busy. We're in different places at different times. I just haven't had the opportunity to do it. If I wasn't hopping in a car to drive up to New York, God only knows how long that's going to take after the show.
You do that trip so often.
Well, my grandkids are up there.
I get that. Logan Wells Colelo, welcome to the broadcast.
My grandkids are up there.
Has there been any push to get them to come down?
Yeah, well, it's
just not going to happen.
Yeah, my daughter's in the makeup. She's a makeup artist and works in the city.
It's challenging to find that work around.
Yeah, you're either working in LA or you're working in the city. It's just how that industry is. So, no, it's okay. If I wasn't biking and having to drive the bike up, we like to take the train up. It's a really great way to do it. If anybody has never done it, here's some hacks on it.
Okay, give us the take business class.
There you go. Take business class.
Yeah.
It's like
the internet's better.
And it's like an extra $30. You get an assigned seat. Book way in advance. Like 4 to 6 weeks or 8 weeks in advance for it. If you book short, like 2 or 3 weeks before, it's actually more expensive than flying. And just sit back and relax and have a good time, and maybe bring a little bit of Bodos with you, a little bottle of rosé, and you sit down and you relax, and you get in the train at whatever, at 9 o'clock, I think, or whatever it is in the morning, and we go to...
Nothing like a little rosé at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Well, somewhere it's 5 o'clock. And, it's a long day.
I totally get it. Dude, I'm not throwing shade. I would be doing the same. I would be.
It's the lunch. You start off with your Bodo's, egg, bacon, and stuff like that, and the coffee, and then you hit about 12, 1 o'clock, because you have to switch. You stay on the train, but they switch locomotives in D.C.
Right.
And the second half of it, You have your lunch, a little glass of wine, have a nice conversation, and the next thing you know, you're in Stamford, Connecticut.
How long is the train ride?
It's about 8 hours. It's
That's not bad.
No, and it's like zero stress, right?
This man gets stressed with the New England traffic, the northeastern
I've
traffic.
become a very different person.
I know you have. As soon as you cross the Mason-Dixon line.
No, Jersey.
As soon as you hit Jersey?
Yeah, once we get on the Jersey Turnpike, Yonna just looks at me and she knows what's coming. So,
Yonna's a saint.
oh God bless her. God bless her. But yeah, so she, we're looking forward to it. We're gonna try to sneak out 85 miles on Sunday and 7,500 foot elevation change. And
This comment's come in. Leggett and Belk were there. Roses was there.
remember.
Downtown Athletic were there,
Yeah.
and a lot more. Commonwealth Sky Bar used to be A&N.
that's right. You know, but look, I mean these.
A&N was where Commonwealth
So
Sky
you
Bar
know this better
Pasaflora is.
than I do. How many vacant? Do we have any vacant?
There's vacancies, but they have been diminished. Some would say some of the new tenants that have filled the vacancies do not contribute to what the intent of the mall is.
Understood.
And that's hard. That's someone's opinion. The economic office.
Well, the market's going to either make that work or not make that work.
Well, I mean, the Office of Economic Development, and I think they do a good job. They are touting the fact that the vacancy rate is below 1%. If you ask stakeholders downtown, they would push back on that and say some of the new tenants that have filled the vacancies aren't really driving traffic to the mall after close of business.
Or are they even paying? Because if they don't have the, you've got to produce some revenue to afford to be on the downtown mall.
Oh my gosh, the rents are, your number one rent district in the city of Charlottesville is Barracks Road Shopping
I
Center.
agree.
Certain aspects of West Main Street are probably in the 2 slot, downtown in the 2 slot as well,
I would say it depends on the section
of West Main
of
and who
West
the
Main,
landlord is.
Yeah.
He listens to the program all the time. He's a developer. He's an attorney, Alan Kajin. He's got some properties on West Main, and he's got some properties on the downtown mall that are priced high.
Yeah.
But he's got premium real estate, and he knows what the price commands.
And
I got no problem with that.
And he's either going to get it or he ain't.
Exactly. And if he doesn't, he understands and he holds.
Yeah, and again, I come from a different perspective. You know, I'm looking at this in 87 where it was 80, 90% vacant. I mean, there was literally plywood on there, and the only place you could really, there was 2 restaurants.
You can go to C&O.
See, I don't consider that on the downtown mall.
Downtown malls, C&O's downtown mall.
Okay, so great.
Why?
So-
Because you're saying it's on Water Street?
well, so the mall is the mall.
Okay, so would you consider Fellini's on the downtown mall?
I would not consider, the mall is the mall.
Okay.
Right?
So the places that you can go, you said in 87,
Which was,
was Sal's Cafe Italia open then? The Finazzo's?
Sal's was open.
The Finazzo family, they own that building.
Sal's was
Huge
open.
fan of Jen Finazzo. Hope she's watching the program.
Across the street was, oh, come on, help me out, the hardware store,
Okay.
right? Which was a really cool.
Bijou.
Bijou? No.
That was the Metropolitan.
That was a
then.
Metropolitan.
The
at that point.
Metropolitan.
There was a Metropolitan at that point. And there was Eastern Standard, which was on the end, which is where now Whiskey Jar is.
Right, right.
Was there. And there was I can't remember the name of it, but there was an Italian restaurant in the lower restaurant space to the right of the hardware store, and I can't remember the name of it. Which
Where the old Henry's restaurant used to be located?
down-
Where Vita Nova used to be located
That's
before
exactly-
he took the Impeccable Pig location.
That's exactly right. Yeah. So it was an Italian restaurant. I can't remember the name of it, but I'm a little picky on my pasta, and if it ain't al dente, I won't.
I like it al dente.
And they did a really, really good job.
Viewers and listeners, what was the name of that Italian restaurant?
I can't remember.
That was in the old Vita Nova location or the old Henry's restaurant location?
This was late early 90s.
I believe that is the new owner of that building, right?
I do. We've talked about
That's
this.
CRHA.
We talked about that.
That's the owner of the building. Charlottesville Redevelopment and Housing Authority.
Yeah. So
John Blair, hello.
Yeah. So I think it's doing its life. We'll find out.
Yep, Chaps is still on the mall. Absolutely, Bill.
Where
In fact, they have a second location on the corner. Tony is no longer the owner of Chaps.
he sold
but
that a while ago.
Tony owns the building that Chaps on the Mall is
Yeah.
located in. The new family that owns Chaps is looking to eventually franchise it. They have 2 locations, one downtown and one on the UVA corner.
I would say on the downtown mall, what the building we visit the most regularly is the Paramount. We're regularly in the Paramount for events, concerts. We're big opera fans, so we go during the Met season there and go grab some dinner or something like that, either before or after it on a Saturday on that. But yeah, actually, I think we're going to see when we get back from New York. The 25th, I think, is Carmen, if I remember correctly.
Richard Averett, welcome to the program. He at one time was one of the co-owners of Commonwealth Sky Bar.
Yeah.
Richard Averett, we appreciate when you watch the program. The Nelson County Richard Averett on the show.
So let's talk a little real estate.
Absolutely. The show's on fire.
7.
Mike, hold on. Mike Sentiviaski,
Oh, yeah.
enjoying the talk this morning with Keith.
Thank
we
you.
loved and still do love CVille. Your old neighbor, friend, and brother Marine.
Yeah.
The train ride sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Semper Fi, brother.
Yeah, Mike, God love you, brother. I haven't seen that. Yeah, go get yourself a bike and meet me up in New York, and we'll.
Where's he watching?
God, I can't remember where he is now. He's moved out here. He has to, if he wants to tell us where he lives now, but it's not local. He lives outside the area. Good to see you, Mike.
Stafford, Virginia.
Stafford, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah. A brother Marine. Yeah, he was awesome. They lived to the right of us when we were in Lake Monticello and Laguna for God, 12 years, 15 years. I can't remember how many years. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. That is so weird, And thanks, Mike. But we have we're just doing us.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I love these are some of my favorite kind of shows. Johnny Ornalis, Capasa, hello.
And then there's a guy that Mike, I haven't talked to Mike in forever.
Stephanie Wells Rhodes from the Intrastate Service Company family.
Let's give them a super special shout out. They are helping me out on a couple of projects with mold, and if you need any help, please reach out to them. They're just awesome to work with. Greg and the team over there dropped what they were doing to help
Greg
us.
Wells, know him well, Intrastate Service Company. Let's see, I will say it was one man in a truck and payphones. That was the first generation. That his son, Mr. Greg Wells, who I have a lot of respect for, friend of the program, took over and boomed it into a business. Then his kids, Cameron, Stephanie, and Greg, took it into another level. Now we have potentially the 4th generation involved with Intrastate Service Company, a home's best friend. Fantastic business.
Well, I can tell you, we are helping a elderly woman move on in her life, and this particular home needs a little bit of loving, and ISC stopped what they were doing and jumped in there to help us out. So, those are the people you want on your side when you need them the most.
Oh, absolutely, and it shows the importance of local.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. You pick up the phone and you get it.
Right.
You get somebody. That was funny while we're talking about that. I was interviewing a couple of real estate
On fire
agents.
here.
Oh, thank you. I was interviewing a couple of agents in Richmond, and they were younger agents. And I looked. There was a couple of them. I looked at them. I said, "So, do you know what this thing does? I'm holding in my hand." And they went everything. Compass, light, text. I said, "No, it's a phone. You can actually call somebody and talk to them." So back to Greg and those folks. Hey, I need a phone call, and they call back. You can't ask for more than
We
that.
were walking through this is hilarious. We were walking through a property, and there were phone jacks in the wall. What are those?
Don't go there. Because I know your wife watches, so don't
She's
do that.
watching right now.
So don't do that. Don't do that. But this house is very early 60s. I think I'm just a little bit older than this house. And they still had phone jacks on the thing. So those who don't know, these were these things you plugged in there, and they had a receiver, and you put on your ear, and you turned it.
We should do a funny test. Get a rotary phone and see if anyone under 21 knows how to use it.
I remember growing up.
Under 21.
That was the big thing in the house when we went from rotary Push button.
To push button. And then a big thing in the house was when you went from
Black and white to color.
no, that was way before my time. Jesus, that was way before my time. A big thing in my house was when we went.
And there was
to
no freaking remote, by the way.
a
The
phone.
remote was.
We had remotes.
The
when I
remote
a kid.
was get your ass up and change the channel, Keith. That was the remote.
We had remotes in our house. Although I remember visiting Grandma and Granddad's house in Cumberland Avenue and Merrimack Shores in Hampton, and they did not. But a big thing in our house was when the phone was had a cord, and then my parents bought the first cordless phone, and we were able to take the phone and walk around the house and not be tied to a cord in the wall. That was a big deal.
So there was rabbit ears on the black and white television that had tinfoil on it. And
You're dating yourself.
and sometimes the reception wouldn't come in, and I was told to stand up and hold.
Oh, yeah.
The antenna.
You're dating yourself right here.
I'm not there. Yeah.
Bill asked if that Italian restaurant was Sal's Cafe Italian. No, it wasn't.
No.
Sal's was there.
It
The
was
Finazzo family, one of the geniuses of the Finazzo family, Mr. Finazzo, was buying the building.
Back in the day.
Yeah, having the vision to buy that building.
Absolutely.
And I believe he moved the business from a 29 North location.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was
remember
where Carmelo's is now.
I like the
or
way
the
they have-
Brazilian restaurant is now.
I really like the way they have that set up now.
Oh my gosh, they did genius with that outside,
Absolutely.
the outside area where they built the bar.
Yeah, and then if you want to have a
Al
pizza-
fresco?
Absolutely. Well, that's very Italian.
Yeah.
But you want to do that? I can't remember the name of the restaurant, but it was really, really awesome.
Any viewers and listeners know the name of the restaurant that was where
Yonna would-
Henry's
Yonna
restaurant
would
was
know.
located?
Yonna would know.
Or where Vita Nova was previously located in the building in the basement of the building
And it
that
would
is
have
now
been-
owned by
it
the
would have-
Charlottesville Redevelopment Housing Authority.
It would have been 89, 90, 91, something like
So
that.
30, 25? No, good Lord, that's 34 years ago.
I know. Been here since 87.
Been here since 2000 for yours truly.
Yeah, so 81 new homes came on in the last 7 days, 75.
This is a real estate show.
This is a real
Although
estate show.
viewers and listeners are responding.
Yeah, well, I wanted to have fun today,
I know, it's
right?
a Friday. It's a fun Friday.
I even brought my spandex. And
I don't know if fun is the word I would use with that.
the fun, yeah. Trust me, nobody wants to see me in spandex, but yeah. So I just want to have fun. But 81.
If you want to put the spandex on.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
81. I would have to start off with spandex. You just don't put spandex on the middle of a show. There's certain rules, right?
There is a closet or a bathroom you could
Are
utilize.
you trying to tell me to get in the
No! You do whatever you want.
Not that there's anything wrong
Not
with
that there's anything wrong with that.
Seinfeld.
Seinfeld reference.
81 came on the market last 7 days. 75 went pending. 80 sold. We got 106 open houses, but that's kind of a bogus number. Most of them are new construction on that. So there you go. That's what's going on in the real estate market.
How would you characterize what's going on, Keith? The market is moving.
It's 10:54. Yeah, the market is moving. Yeah,
You're in
yeah.
good spirits today.
I am. I'm
His
excited.
business is doing well.
I'm excited about going seeing my grandkids.
He's got a
I'm really-
fantastic wife.
Yeah, I'm really. Oh my God, I cannot. And I'm not just saying this to say this because I believe it. I truly believe this. I cannot tell you how blessed and lucky I am. Got awesome family, awesome wife, awesome friends. I get to work with you guys a couple of times a week. Business is good. You know, pay my bills, put money in the bank, get to go on trips, which makes you all freaked out because I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks.
Well, that's not till June, and you got subs coming in.
Maybe.
You got subs coming in. I know you do.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm blessed. I'm going to go get to hang out on the lower level of George Washington Bridge at 5 o'clock in the morning for 2 hours. Wait for 7 o'clock to come around.
You have to get there early.
Yeah, because
I know why. There's a lot of people.
It's the busiest bridge in the world.
Yeah.
More vehicles across that bridge than any other bridge in the world.
I'm curious of how much revenue the bridge generates in tolls.
Oh, that math should be very.
Can you figure it out?
That math
how
should
much
be
revenue the George Washington Bridge generates?
That's an easy.
That could be a Google.
That's an easy number to figure out.
Logan Wells Claylo says, was it the hardware store restaurant, that Italian restaurant? No, it wasn't the hardware store.
No, but it was right.
It was next to it.
It was next to it, Logan, and
Yeah.
it was down in that little
The basement restaurant.
subterranean
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Where Henry's restaurant used to be. There was an Indian restaurant there, and
That's
Vita
exact-
Nova used to be there.
And this is way back when, but the Italian food was good. That math should be really easy. I think it's like
You ready?
It's like billions of cars a year go across.
Oh, Judah's got the number already on a
There you
3-shot. Judah Wickower?
George Washington Bridge brings in $1 million per day.
Yeah, I can see that. And they can't paint the freaking thing.
$365 million a year
And it
because of
ain't
the
enough
GW
money.
Bridge.
And ain't enough money.
And I bet you that number's light. What year is that?
I mean,
I bet you that number's light.
I remember seeing a number north of $1 million.
I thought it was higher than that too, because I
But-
actually looked this up randomly, wondering the same. Go ahead.
When you have an opportunity, put the picture that I took from last year of the bridge. See, it's not even enough money to have the bridge painted and cleaned up on a regular basis. Whatever it is, it ain't enough money.
But that's New York.
It used to be that way. I'm
It's
going to tell you a
Manhattan.
random story about this. I have a family. This is a true, God's honest, true story. I have a family friend.
Okay.
Last name is McNamara. Their family, there's a couple of generations that came over, and their family, their job was to paint the George Washington Bridge. And they would start from one end of the bridge and go to the other end of the bridge, and then start back up. And they were constantly painting it. I don't think that's been done in decades. This was a long time ago. This was like in the 20s and the 30s and the 40s, and then all of a sudden 60s came around, and I can't remember when the year of the bridge was
Your
built.
daughter's watching.
Which one?
Guess.
It'll be Yvonne.
Yeah.
Yaz is on a shoot.
We're excited about hanging with you. He's only this happy because Houston finally bought a road bike.
He did.
Houston is his son-in-law.
He did. He bought a road bike.
So is he going to bike with you?
Yeah, he can't keep up.
You're such a DIC guy. You're such a...
No, I'm only being a wise ass today. I was generally, when he sent me a picture of it, I was generally excited, and I very rarely just call him on the phone because he's always either in the
He's
OR.
a doctor.
He's always in the OR.
He's an anesthesiologist.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
The work he does is dangerous.
I'm sensitive to that. But when he sent me a picture of the bike, I figured I'm good to call. So I called him and did that. And I gave him a little bit of chastation because...
Chastation?
It's a new word. I made it up. Is
Is that a word?
No, it's not.
I don't think that's a word.
It's not a word.
That's a version of a
It's a
word.
Keith's
All right,
word.
it's a
It's Keith's
Keithism.
word.
It's a Keithism.
That he didn't buy safety lights. And so I have an extra pair of safety lights, which I'm gifting to my son-in-law.
Okay.
That is very important to have those red blinking lights and white blinking lights in the front so people can aim for you.
You guys should ride together. Roger Voisin.
Yeah, we'll ride together. We'll ride together. I got to let him train up a little bit.
Look, he's a young man.
He's a young man.
How old is your son-in-law?
Oh, well.
You should know this.
I'm
Come
going to let Yvonne decide if that's a good thing to do or not.
Why?
But I think he's 30.
Yeah, I was going to say. What do you mean?
Think about that. This dude is 30 years old.
Yeah.
I tell him this all the time. I'm super proud of him.
He's 30. You just said.
He's 30 years old. He's
Yeah.
an anesthesiologist
Crushing it.
running multiple ERs
Yeah.
in it at the age of 30 years old.
That's great.
How freaking awesome is that?
Yeah.
You know, and here I am trying to talk on a real estate show.
About the GW Bridge.
About the GW
and some
Bridge.
candy stores.
30-something years older than he is.
And trying to figure out what the Italian restaurant is
And trying
from
to remember
1988.
these are real important things. You know, forget about that whole life-saving stuff. This is important stuff.
You help families with one of the key essential...
Go ahead, do it. You can do it. You can
one
do
of
it.
the key essential aspects of life.
One of the 3 essentials for a trip around the sun.
There you go.
And they are?
Food, housing,
No, you got to say that one last.
food, cold beer,
No.
and housing,
Judah.
food, shelter, clothing,
And?
shelter.
There you go.
You handle the shelter piece.
We handle the shelter
Where's the
thing.
cold beer piece?
It's in the food. It's kind of
Okay.
baked
It's
in
in the
that.
food, yes.
And then, the clothing is spandex, so everything is all covered.
Which is directly behind him. The guy desperately wants somebody to say, "Put the spandex on." I am not going to be the guy. But what he's
You're not the
secretly
guy,
doing,
huh?
what he's secretly doing, is asking for someone to put his spandex on,
I
or
can't
insisting
do
that he put his spandex on.
I can't do that. Look at the pictures. Look at the pictures from my post. That's how you can go.
Your daughter goes, "Of course they will ride together. Don't make it weird, Dad." That's why we love him.
Yeah.
why we-
Why, I'm not allowed to make it weird? What's so weird
What's
about
the
this?
Seattle phrase, or is it Portland? With
Oh,
weird?
keep Portland weird.
Keep Portland weird. Yeah.
And that is very true statement. It's kind of cool, though. If you've never been there, it's a really cool place to wander around and watch all
I've never been there.
watch all the weirdos. It's actually really cool. But, for me, it just reminded to me, it was the same as the 60s and the 70s in the city. You'd walk down the street, you see the same crazy stuff, and it was crazy stuff. That was what it was. Nobody thought anything about it.
And it's normal at that point.
It was totally normal. But yeah, Portland's actually a pretty cool city. If you can, forget about the politics and forget about that. It's just a really cool city with really cool,
Did you ever give your take? And this is.
you're going to get me into trouble.
I
want to have fun today. Today's
I'm
Friday
asking
fun.
a serious question, unless you don't want the serious question.
We could do serious.
Holly Foster, hello. Brandon Harrop, hello.
Holly,
Trip
bail
Stewart,
me
hello.
out here.
Ray Cadell, hello.
Hey, Ray, bail me out.
Did you ever give your take on what happened with the protest on grounds? Dr. Downey, hello. Do you want to touch that?
I am not going to touch that.
Okay.
But thank you for asking anyway.
I'm curious of your take.
That's a take.
Consume the community.
Yeah, that's a take I would more than happy have a discussion with somebody one-on-one. I
Okay.
would not do that here.
Okay.
I come from a very different perspectives on that. Those of us who served would just piece it together. I'm just leaving it alone.
Fair enough. So much respect for you. I'm not going to even try to push back on
I'm
that.
going to leave it alone. But thank you anyway. What did you call me, a DIC? What? You ought to look in the mirror a little bit, pal.
Me
See,
asking
I'm starting my New Yorkers coming at me, and I'm not even left Connecticut yet.
Me asking that question is not
Yeah, whatever. Freak you.
Tracking the Fed's next move on the studio cam in here. Lisa Sturdivant, I'm segueing for you.
Oh, God,
I set you up well.
Stop it.
I know
you go
where
ahead.
you wanna
tell
go.
me. I sent you the article.
I
tell me
read
what
it. Dr. Lisa Sturdivant,
Tell me what you thought about it.
Chief Economist of Virginia Association of Realtors, on a short list for the Chief Economist position for the National Association of Realtors.
You think so?
I don't think she would want it now.
She would never take that in a million years.
I don't think
I
that
know
job
her
has
well
the
enough.
prestige it once did.
I know her well enough.
Dr.
to know.
Lawrence Yoon is the Chief Economist
Yeah,
of National
no.
Association of Realtors.
She's got a pretty darn good gig.
She
right
sounds
now.
like she's got a great gig.
Yeah, I don't see that.
She put some commentary out. James Watson, hello, we love you.
Hey, James.
She put some commentary online earlier this week after the Fed offered some indication.
I'll tell you one of the best moments on the downtown mall I ever had
Okay.
was with my brother-in-law, James.
Tell that story. It's a good story.
After the August 17th thing, he and I walked up and down the
August
August 17th.
yeah, A12th.
Walked down the downtown mall holding hands. So very proud and honored to know that man. Lucky man, and to put up with my family is God bless him.
Married to your sister.
I wasn't going to say anything about my sister. I made it more family
Okay.
thing. You can go there, and
No.
he can go there, but I'm fearful.
just highlighting that
my
he's married to your
sister
sister.
scares the hell out of me, so I'm not gonna go ahead and do that. She has sharp instruments, scissors and stuff. That's one awesome dude, man. Anybody, if you ever want to get to know an awesome human, reach out and try to get to know James Watson.
I first met James Watson as a student at the University of Virginia when he was tending bar at Orbit.
I've known him for decades. I've never seen
We
that.
talked UVA and hit it off right away.
Never seen that man be anything but this.
Consistent.
Constant level. Never gets worked up. At least what I see, anyway. I'm sure my sister might say something
I've seen
else.
Keith worked up.
Oh yeah. I am definitely an emotional, passionate kind of guy.
Lisa Sturtevant says this: inflation eases in April. Good news for potential Fed rate cut. We've been saying for a long time now that inflation is remaining stubbornly elevated, and this CPI report provides additional evidence that consumers are increasingly pessimistic that inflation is coming down, said Bright MLL's chief economist. I called her the chief economist for VAR. I stand corrected. She's the chief economist of the Bright MLS.
Exactly right. She used to be for VAR, so you had it right.
Yeah.
Then she left VAR and
Now
went
she's
to
at
Bright.
I want to make sure I have
And you,
corrected that.
there's no way in hell she's going to NAR.
Yeah, right.
Who knows? I've been wrong.
No. I think that's a safe comment.
I think that's a safe
I think
bet.
that's a safe comment. The consumer price index increased 0.3% in April on a seasonally adjusted basis after rising to 0.4% in March. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics reported on May 15th.
I had an interesting conversation on Wednesday after the show with a bunch of, it's one of my acquisition and development deals I'm working on with a bunch of national and regional people in the room. I kind of called it, everybody's getting a little worried about the commercial sector nationally because of this reset, that's going to happen. Now, in the same breath, they said most of these banks are just going to kind of figure out a way to extend it because they sure as hell don't want to take property back. But there is going to be a reset going on because most of these commercial deals are starting to mature on it because they're not 30-year mortgages or whatever. So it was an interesting conversation because we talked a little bit about that on Wednesday, and it just picked up after the show.
Well, the reason I bring this up is there was some thought that maybe another rate hike would happen. It seems
mortgage
that
rates
is not
are going down, though. They went down a smidge.
A scotch.
Smidge.
They went down a smidge.
A
They're
skosh,
still
a smidge.
in the 7.5-ish range.
No, I think you can
Let's see
get
here.
7.1, 7.7
Let's see.
right now.
I can tell you right now.
Good, thank you for
Yeah.
doing that. Thanks for doing that.
Absolutely.
Keep me straight. Appreciate that.
They
7.1. I looked at it this morning.
Let's see.
Was 7.1. So it went down from 7.3, 7.4 to 7.1, somewhere around there. But yeah, so you would think that's counterintuitive, right? Which what is it?
No, you're depending on where you're shopping and whether it's jumbo or non-jumbo, et cetera, et cetera. Credit score,
There you go.
et cetera.
That matters more than anything.
Yeah.
That's under the assumption you've got a excellent credit.
Yeah.
Yada yada yada.
Yeah.
You can get something around 7.1 ish, plus or minus, depending on how it goes. But intuitively, you would think that would be going up, right?
You would
all this
think.
conversation. So I think.
We love you, Johnny. We love you, Patricia.
Hey, Johnny. I think, and Patricia, we love you too. So the.
I got to say this. Patricia Irby, one of the hardest working realtors in the game. I often highlight her consistent mechanics on the tennis court. And she said, why don't you highlight that I'm a hard-working realtor? You are a hard-working realtor. She's
Look at
fantastic.
you.
Yeah.
Consistent mechanics.
Yeah. Oh, she's got I've seen her hit a racquetball and a tennis ball. She's fantastic. She's also an excellent realtor.
I would agree 100%.
Yeah.
Does it right.
Yeah.
I lost my train of thought. Thanks, Miller.
My job here is
What
to
was I
make sure you
talking
keep
about?
your train of thought.
Yeah,
And
what
I
was
just
talking-
screwed it up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've only got one job, Miller.
You were talking about rates.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mentioned this on Wednesday. I think the mortgage market, is already baked in certain things into the market. We'll see. So we were having that conversation on Wednesday. What if we get to 8 or 9? What's going to happen to the market? And we'll see, of course. But I was pleasantly surprised to see that rates are staying kind of flat. The average since 1972 to now is 7.1%. So we're right kind of at the average since 72. So
1:30 p.m. Wednesday. This was, less than 48 hours ago. The jumbo fixed was 7.25.
got it.
Yeah, that was being offered by local banks.
Got it.
But that was Wednesday afternoon.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's maybe 7.1. It's a half a point, a quarter of a point, something like that.
Yeah.
But it's not going up.
Right. That's the point we're making.
It's not going up.
That's what
No,
point
that's
we're making.
today. Probably after this
I know,
conversation.
God, it just moved constantly.
But that's
That's the nature of the.
But that's been the whole. We've been talking about this for freaking years.
Yeah.
right? Right? Remember, everybody was saying we're going to be at 4 or 2 or 3 or 9 or 8.
No one knows.
Nobody knows, right?
Yeah.
It's a market-driven thing.
Everybody was saying there were experts that we would have, by this point, had a couple of cuts. It hadn't been a single cut.
Well, it's because, in my opinion, I think we have a new reality on inflation number.
You're saying it's not a 2.
I've always thought a 2 was an unrealistic expectation.
The Fed's goal.
I think the Fed goal of 2% was always an unrealistic expectation, or it was set low intentionally, right? So they could maneuver a little bit. I think you're going to see, what I don't know what it is right now. I haven't had a chance to take a look, and maybe somebody can Google that and find out what the inflation rate is at the moment. But whatever it is, the economy isn't slowing down. And I think that's their point. We shall see.
We'll see. Time will tell. Time will tell.
11:11.
I know you're about to hit the road.
I got
the
it.
show was easy.
11:12.
The show was easy peasy.
Oh, I
today.
love these shows. This is my fun. This is the fun
Same.
stuff. We're
Riding high.
Well, and
He's about to ride sore here this weekend.
Yeah.
You should got the padded shorts.
You think I don't have them?
I know you have the padded shorts.
Yeah.
Honorary street name from the Pavilion to 4th Street Southwest, Memory Lane. Put up signs. These are Bill suggestions. Put up signs in or on all buildings that have images of and list of all the business that has existed in various buildings as well.
Oh, I think that's a cool
People
idea.
can come down, scan QR codes, and add their own memories to the archive.
I like it.
that, Bill.
Good.
I've always suggested to Keith we should do a building history show.
We tried to do
Find
that
a
once.
couple of buildings and do the history.
Yeah,
of
we
them.
should do that. The problem with that is that actually requires a lot.
That requires some homework. Yes,
work.
that preparation.
That doesn't require this.
Pick a handful of buildings that are rich in history and talk
so,
about
So
it.
let me get this straight. You want me to work? Is that what you want me to do? Okay.
It is tied to real estate.
You still want me to work,
You
right?
can even welcome some historians to the program to talk about the building.
Yeah. Yes, dear. Yes, honey. No problem. God.
You're going to enjoy this bike ride. my
I've
friend.
got to. Yeah, well, you just reminded me of what I'm not going to enjoy.
No.
Oh, you
What?
have no idea.
Oh, the sword tushy
You have no
from
idea.
riding on the saddle.
You have no idea. You hit about 50 miles and you know it. But, it's.
Give them some closing thoughts. Go
Yeah,
on
I
the Costanza high note.
I don't know if we want to be talking about calluses on my rear end.
No, that's why I was trying to segue into you some fantastic closing thoughts. Going
Yeah,
on the Costanza high note.
Yeah. Oh God.
You crushed this show.
Is
by the
there
way.
such thing as a Costanza high note?
Yeah, he did it when he was in the Yankee with the Yankees.
Yeah, but was that really a high note, or was just him wanting it to be a high note?
It was a high note.
Okay.
That was a great episode.
No, I'm excited about wrapping up the show. I'm not excited about sitting in the car for God only know how many hours with my sore tush going up there. Even so, to put it in perspective, Yvonne and Ravenna
Yeah.
is flying up to New York tomorrow.
Okay.
So I'm driving. This is what I got going on. After this, I'm driving up to Connecticut. Mm-hmm. We'll get there, God only knows when. Then I'm waking up at 0:30 in the morning, driving all the way back to Newark to pick up Yvonne and Ravenna, go pick up my race package in Fort Lee, which is on the other side of Jersey, then driving back to Norwalk, right? Then waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning on Sunday
God.
to get back to Fort Lee to find a place to
And he does this because he loves his family.
to find a place to park.
This is bananas what you're doing.
I'm not smart.
This is bananas.
But
Is Yonna coming?
oh, yeah,
She's coming?
and the dog, of course.
Okay.
Don't even get me started.
Do you drive the Subaru
Yeah,
or the truck?
We'll take the Subaru.
Okay.
Take the Subaru, and so then I'll do the bike ride for a gazillion hours with my sore tush. Drive back to Newark. But here's the pleasant thing about it: we're going to have all 3 of our grandkids in one spot at one time.
That's awesome.
And I'm looking forward to it. That's
Don't forget Harry.
3 grandchildren.
No, Big Harry.
Oh, no, they're going. No. The whole reason we're doing
Oh,
this.
Big Harry and Yaz aren't going to be there?
The whole reason we're doing this, they're going on vacation.
Okay.
Thought I told you this.
No, you didn't tell me this.
We never talk.
We do talk. You never told me about this. So that's why you're going up. I got it. Okay.
And the race.
And then you're allowing Yaz and Big Harry to go on vacation on their own.
They are flying out to go to St. Martin, to Grand Cause.
With the house you stay at?
They're going someplace different, but yeah, they're in the same area.
Okay.
And they have not had Honey Bunny alone time.
Oh, yeah.
In 5 years,
I know
6
what that's
years.
like.
Yeah. So we're driving up, and we've got 3 adults that are going to manage 3 kids. We'll see how it goes.
3 kids and a dog.
And a dog.
Yeah.
So
and somehow you escape on a bike trip. It's a smart man. Okay.
Do I look stupid?
I'll take it back. Smart man over here.
I'm okay with a sore tush.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I totally understand. Keith Smith, guys.
Yep, 11:16. Got to go.
Back in the saddle on Wednesday for Real Talk with Keith
Wednesday.
Smith.
I'm driving back on Tuesday. We'll be on Wednesday.
Today's show was a joy.
These are the fun ones.
Totally.
I have a good time.
Thank you, viewers and listeners, for watching. Judah Wickower behind the camera.
Thank you, Judah.
Show archived on realtalkwithkeithsmith.com. Look at the partners that are on screen, trusted advisors in this game we call life. The I Love CVille show is up at 12:30 p.m. So long, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Keith, that was awesome.
I had fun.
Yeah.